So often I do like mental scenarios, exercises, I don't know, like visions or whatever. And I think about like, actually having conversations with people. Call me crazy, but I think I've mentioned this before, maybe to you all, or maybe in a private conversation, but just like if I'm on a stage and somebody says, hey, listen, what do you think about this? Or debating red pill ideology with anti-red pillar, right? Man, woman, feminist, whatever group, tradcon, anti-tradcon, trans activist, blah, blah, blah. And I just think about like just dropping the mic. And I've talked to you all about just, I'm just tired of being triggered. And this is moving towards more indifference. Shout out Complex and the Black Brain Trust, Mike V, what's it called? Lionel, Dollar Will, other brothers in the space, or other brothers on that side of things. And I think about indifference and how it looks, or essential indifference is what what's it called? I'm Classic calls it. So I think about stuff like that now, right? And I'm like, if somebody says, well, men caused this, men did this. I was watching like a little bit of For Harriet, and I had to get off. I mean, there's a guy, I think he handled himself well. His diction was there, words, everything. But then you just see the women in like the chat talking about, it's like if you go to For Harriet, she's talking about it's the one about talking to a Kevin Samuels supporter or something like that. And you see the women going off in the chat, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I don't want to look at this anymore. I don't feel like being triggered or kind of quote unquote defending the dude in a sense, or trying to even say, that's not right, that's a lie, why did she think that? And then, you see women talk about like, if he just sounds like he doesn't have confidence. If he would dress better, he can get one of those I like anime girls. And it's just like, whoa, like, Jesus, this is what dudes are talking about. And dudes do it too on the other side, right? Not to like, be balanced, but just like, dudes do this stupid shit too. And it's just like, okay, what's deeper than this? And recently there was, I think Donovan Sharp was breaking down, it's just something that I think like Ed sent or something. Donovan Sharp was breaking down a conversation Just Pearly Things was having with Destiny on, I forgot the other guy's, the guy's channel but anyways, Donovan Sharp was doing this breakdown. And one thing that Destiny said that I thought was true, was that this is the problem of being in echo chambers. When you're in an echo chamber, you can't even defend your points because somebody that comes from outside of that echo chamber just opens the door and lets the fucking air out and lets the echo out. And then you hear how the echo just dies down. And then all you're left with are your thoughts that come from that echo chamber. And those thoughts are not defended. You can't even defend them whatsoever. And it was about, Just Pearly Things in a group like that Vice video where she was part of a group, and it was mostly feminists and stuff like that. And as soon as Just Pearly Things said one thing, like the feminists didn't have much to say. They were like, are we really arguing about this? And it's like, yes, we are, because you don't even know what the fuck to talk about. So anyways, back to my scenario, the stuff like this is a whole chain of things that like build on one another, right? But back to it, and I'm like looking at this, and I'm looking at this or thinking about this in my head, and I'm like, you know what? If somebody was to debate me and said, this is the problem with you guys, this is the problem with you men, this is the problem with your group, your ideology, and this, I was like, okay, if that's the case, take in like an Edward approach of like, okay, date out, and just thinking about like, you know what? Hey, do you have if it's like a woman or something like that, do you have a boyfriend, a husband, something like that? Yeah, I have a boyfriend. It's like, all right, cool. Do you think this is a guy that you're gonna marry someday? And it's like, you could be like, give her out. You don't have to answer that, or if you want, like, but if the guy says, hey, puts his, gets on a knee and says he wants to marry you, would you say yes? And it's like, well, you don't know. All right, cool. No problem. I understand. Like, that's a big decision, blah, blah, blah. And won't even make no slight dig, like, well, but it wasn't a big decision, or it's not a big decision for women to have kids, but it's a big decision that they're going to be married to somebody for quote unquote forever, that type of stuff. And this is kind of what we've been brainwashed or, thought to believe or set to believe, right? So, and it's like, oh, okay, but you have a husband, if that's the scenario. Cool. And I would just probably ask the audience, like, how many of you, and not to like get on your personal decision or anything else like that, but, take it away from the woman, take it away from the person that is anti or against my ideology or thought process. I would just ask them simply, or ask, people in the audience, if there was an audience. And sometimes I get, sometimes this is my daydreaming session sometimes, man. And it helps me a little bit make sense of why I think the way I think. And I would just say, hey, do you in the crowd who in the crowd has, like, by a raise of hands or show of hands, who has a 401k? Boom, they raise their hands. Say it's like, say it's like 80%, 80% of the people, because a lot of 401k plans, what they do is they, your company will auto enroll you into it. And there's reasons why companies like 401ks, it actually helps them with taxes and stuff like that. But they'll auto enroll you into a 401k plan. And so some people have it or unknowingly have it. So they just have it because they were given it. Okay, cool. Out of you that have raised your hands, is this only a part of your retirement investment portfolio, your retirement portfolio, or is this all you do for your retirement? And then, the people the ones that do more, keep your hands up. Everyone else that doesn't do anything other than just their 401k and their the match from their job or whatever, no other IRA accounts, no investment accounts or anything like that will go to your retirement or retirement investment vehicles, right? We'll just keep it on retirement, because you can have an investment account, but then it's not for retirement, so on and so forth, whatever. And the ones that, by show of hands, or keep the hands up for the people that are doing more for their retirement. Maybe that's buying real estate. Maybe that's buying land, blah, 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 right? Keep those hands up. Then you see, like, out of those 80%, only like, say, 30% are left, right? And then you just look at them and say, okay, those with their hands up, do you think you'll have enough? And like, those with their hands up, keep your hands up if you think you'll have enough for your retirement. And then, maybe half those go down. So now it's only 15% of the crowd, right? And then you just look at it and say, all right, cool, everybody hands down. And you say, the people that do more, that do the base, do a little bit more, and also do enough, more than enough in a sense, to put themselves in the right position to deal with retirement or to be ready for retirement. Those people are the quote unquote people that are quote unquote doing it right. Meaning that they are thinking, they're forward thinking, and they're saying, hey, I will have enough to make it when this XYZ comes, right? This point of my life comes, this stage of my life comes, or retirement or anything else that comes along, right? Like, I will have more than enough. Those are the people that are quote unquote right, because anyone that is not doing enough to make sure that they have enough during retirement are probably not thinking ahead. Why does this make sense? What's the point, that the other person would ask? The point is simply this: those people will make it. Everyone else will not. And that's all there is to it. And that's really just indifference. Those that will do more will make it. Those that do less will not. Those that want relationships and, invest in another person or invest in kids and try to go for the long haul, do it together with one another, of course, barring abuse or anything crazy or anything like that, quote unquote, everything is perfect. There is no issue. There is no like death or whatever, but those people, they have the vision to say, my husband is going to be here. My wife is going to be here. My significant other, whatever that may be, is going to be here. And we are going to support each other, or we're going to have enough to support one another moving into the future. Anybody else doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's getting to that point where we need to, and again, I've said this multitude of times. I've had different agendas, talking about the reclaiming choice. We've gone through that with MRIs, MGTOWs, and then reclaiming emotions. Now it's Purple Pill Wars, transition, and just indifference. Like this is kind of like the movement or progress of my channel over time, talking about MGTOW retirement. Am I doing the best on that? Yes and no. I'm not accumulating a lot of money. I'm trying to pay off a lot more debt. So got a couple debts that I'm going to be paying off pretty soon, and also helping my father out pretty soon with some of his bills, his mortgage in particular. You know, talking with my sister about it. You know, making sure that we both know what's going on and we communicate with one another. Also working, eventually start working with my mom, maybe even start giving her a monthly allowance or something like that, just to make sure that she gets helped. You know, it's like those people, like the thing is my parents, and guys, you've heard me talk about, you know, ill of my mom in terms of like her behavior and everything else like that. I will never say that my mom never helped me. I will never say that my mom didn't support me. I will say that motherfucker has annoyed the living shit out of me, and I just really can't be around her for long periods of time. But she deserves to be helped. She deserves to be supported. She deserves the same things that my father is going to get from me. So that will be done. No matter how I feel about my mom, like, you know, at the end of the day, you do, and one of the probably the most black pill things that I could ever realize early on or years ago is that, you know, and I would tell this to my students or my student athletes at the time. It's just like, you know, 2015, 2016, maybe a little bit later than that actually. That one day you're going to realize that that person you call mom or dad is just another human being. Like they have certain things, traits, behavioral patterns and things like that that you have to quote unquote watch out for or account for. But like that parent, that person is just another human being. Like once you get past that, once you understand that, things become a lot clearer. My mom is a human being. My dad is a human being. They have certain traits, whether you like them or not, but they are human beings. I will not forget what they've done for me. But this is the point. They put a lot into me. They put a lot into me, and they've invested a lot of time and money into me. And it's time to quote unquote pay it back. Not just because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do, but that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I want to do. And that is what I'm able to do. You see how the baseline, I went from the baseline to more and then more than enough, right? Or like more than enough, like going forward into it. Like they put enough into me, like, or put even enough into my sister to where my sister has provided for my father. Got that dude, you know, you got him a new vehicle and everything. And just out of nowhere, it's freaking beautiful, you know? Like, I almost got jealous. I got jealous, you know? And, like, that motivated me, even with, you know, how I feel about my sister. And I had a good talk with her the other day, and I keep it honest. I was like, listen, I love you, but, I mean, I just don't like the way you handle certain things. But, you know, push comes to shove, I'm going to be right next to you if anything happens. Like, the only reason I can't be with right next to you instantly is because I'm 4 hours away. I'd be with you in 4 hours. But that's what you do for people that invest in you. So when I hear some of this stuff that goes on and more people, you know, like, again, I've been in the space, when you've been in the space for a long period of time, after a while, you just watch from the clouds, you kind of ghost. I was watching a Hammerhand video and he talked about ghosting today and talking about like previous MGTOWs that have kind of ghosted and moved on and transitioned and stuff like that. And I've talked about that in other videos and other private chats. But, you know, it will be a transitionary period where we as men start to just move on. Like, we don't, like, there's certain things that we just don't do anymore. Certain people we don't deal with, certain things we don't talk about, so on and so forth, right? So there will be times where ghosting happens, or I like to call it transitioning. So transitioning, moving offline, moving, off the center line, moving off the path, and, really going your own way or going away from others and, finding your place and just relaxing in it, things like that. So I think about this, man, like think about that, that quote unquote debate, that scenario and how it would sound and how it would sound now versus how it would sound back in early blue pill days, red pill days, red pill rage days, and then red pill, and then transitioning now just to, somewhat like a monk mode and things like that. And then even transitioning to like, hey, listen, man, I want to actively try and have kids and see what happens and see what's out there. Make the deal. Make the new social contract. Define the new social contract. Even if it fails, try and define it. See what you can actually do to actually make that happen. You know, I think about stuff like that now, and I'm like, I won't say this is like, oh, higher level thought. This is just different, you know. This is different. This is a different different point, different leg on the path. I've passed a couple checkpoints. There's certain things I just don't go back to. Now we're just moving forward. And I think about like, you know, and it's not even like, you know, did I win the debate? Did I win the daydreaming debate? Did I win the scenario? Did I convince this person? It's like when you're at a certain point, right? I think it was like Shay Sade. She was, it was like a short or something. No, short. I forgot. Maybe it was no. I think it was a video. And then, you know, women want to talk about healing and all this other stuff. And people just like, they don't know what is healed. I say healing is indifference, caring less. Saying, hey, listen, man, I love you as a person, but I don't think we could be together in a relationship. Cool, I totally understand. If you have like, quote unquote, two healed people, they're just not affected by that trauma. It's more indifference. So I think healing is indifference. Healing equals indifference. And I'll maybe label it that. But I think healing from or reprogramming yourself from the brainwashing of your early years and what you thought things would be is indifference, you know, moving towards that point. And it's not like that malicious indifference where it's just like, hey man, I see this person's on fire. Damn, I gotta pee. Fire, pee, fire. I see no connection here. Let me walk on. I gotta go pee, you know? Ah, shit, hey, I could have peed on that person. That doesn't do it for me sexually. Let me just go piss in the toilet. You know, like just moving on. Like you don't like, it's just like, hey, listen, if that's the case. But the thing is like, all right, cool. Maybe you just get a hose and like hose them down real quick and then take your other hand and piss. I don't know. Or you just like, oh shit, man, you know. And or maybe you just like, you know, you're not even in the situation where you're there to see somebody get pissed on. Sorry, to get to be on fire, you know, like what does that say about you? Why the fuck are you near somebody getting flamed? Like, what kind of fucking barbecue are you running? You know, that type of shit. So I don't know why the Addams Family just popped in my head. Like a fucking Addams Family barbecue. You know, somebody's getting lit on fucking, like Wednesday's lighting her brother on fire or some shit. And he's just running around. And then the mom and dad are like, oh, Wednesday. Someone get the hose. Uncle Festa, throw him in the pool. Pool's got fucking alligators and sharks or some shit. That's what happens when you have a fucking active mind. Also, check the community tab for my painting that I posted up. So it's really nice. Like when I recline, like it's really kind of fucking sick. Let me just fucking show that real quick. So when I recline in that middle chair there, I see that. So it's pretty cool. Same artist that made the Goofy and also made this skateboard. I got those pieces from him, so I'll see whatever else he has. Also, I got that from Display. That's really cool. Anyways, that was my thought. That was the scenario I had in my head. It's just like, and I'll probably label this one healed equals indifference. You know, like it can be malicious. That's just not my vision of it in terms of like malicious indifference. It is what it is. Some people think that way, where they want to get a rise out of somebody. And the anti-whatever person that I would be talking to in this daydream, it wouldn't be to make that person feel sad. It wouldn't be to win the argument. It would be just to say, hey, if you think what you're doing is going to get you to where you want, cool. 10 years from now, when we get to this quote unquote finish line, or when we get to whatever your definition of a done is, which could be 10 years or on your deathbed, you know, or the afterlife, and we look back, did you check all the boxes? And even if you didn't check all the boxes, did you enjoy yourself? Are you satisfied with the result? You know, like even with the paintings, am I satisfied with the result of the painter? Does this what was done match my vision? And I think a lot of people, whether they admit it, like, and it's not even something for you. Like, even if I was on that stage, I wouldn't be like, yo, listen, I need you to tell me right now. I'll be like, listen, you're going to have to admit that to yourself. That's something that you do internally. No one else knows what that conversation is, and no one else cares. And also, no one else should be even told. This should be something you ask yourself. I don't even give a fuck what you say right here on stage or in this, you know, panel or what have you. Did you get what you want? Were you satisfied with the result? Did you check all your boxes? Not in that order. Not in that order, but did you get all of that? Like, I mean, are you satisfied? And if the answer is yes, then yo, man, you did the right thing. If the answer is no, then hey, man, you didn't do the right thing, or you didn't, you know, do what you didn't do what you wanted to get the result that you desired. A lot of people want to drive Lambo, Bentley, Rolls Royce, Mercedes, BMW, and all they got is Honda money, used Honda money, Kia money. If that's the case, man, then you're not doing what you're supposed to. And I'll leave you with this. I've said it before multiple times. A lot of people do not want to admit that they're getting everything that they want out of life. And I expanded on that because if they did, they would have to admit that they failed. They would have to really look at themselves and look at what they have, look at what they've achieved, look at where they're at, look at, you know, how they feel and say, hey, I'm not getting what I actually want out of life. Or I'm not getting what I want out of life. I'm only getting, you know, or sorry, I am getting everything I want out of life, and what I want out of life, or what I have right now and what I've achieved does not match my vision. I look out my window here, this matches my vision. In fact, my vision was nowhere near as fucking nice as what I've achieved thus far. I've talked about that a multitude of times. Exterminator came over yesterday and he was like, bro, this is a really nice spot. And I was like, yeah, man. All right, well, I gotta get back to work. I appreciate you, but yeah, man, I love it. And he's like, man, this is really nice. And not for the validation of someone else, but it actually did something for me. Like, it was like, wow, man, you know, I'm glad for me, I like other people enjoying what I have. I get a lot out of, you know, the enjoyment and satisfaction of others, you know, like I really do get stuff out of that. I really do get that. I really do feel like I want people to feel at home, feel this is sanctuary, feel they can come out here and chill the fuck out. Feel that they have a quote unquote safe space. They have a space that they can actually stay in and belong to. Like, that does a lot for me. I love that. Anyways, with that being said, appreciate you all. Love you all. I'm still working on the stream stuff. I'm gonna holler at my boy Miguel from one of my old jobs, and I already bought an Elgato so I can switch scenes, and I'll start programming all that stuff. And I'll probably do everything from the MacBook. It looks like I will be getting some like mounts and stuff so I can have a proper monitor and how, you know, a whole stream setup, maybe some more switches and all that stuff. And then eventually I'll start getting a lawnmower in there so I can do some more testing and some other stuff in that shop. So I will be doing some, I'll set up some of that camera stuff, get it in place. And then eventually what I'll do is I'll have a proper look and feel to everything, or I'll start to put everything in place and finish up that workshop. So like I got to do stuff like finish cutting out pieces for pieces of like planks of wood so that I can actually get the some of the tables and benches fitted or properly fitted, and then also get those things drilled in and adhere to the wall, or like drilled into the wall so they stay in place. And really just finish off the shop, finish off the exhaust and stuff like that. and then go with that multi-camera setup. That's gonna be sick. I think that's gonna be fucking awesome. So I ordered the three more cameras. So I have about 4 angles, and I switch that up over time, and get that looking right. So I think that's gonna be. I'm like really fucking hyped about that, and it'll probably be like some shop work ASMR type shit and get that going. All right. With that being said, love you all. Healing equals indifference. Peace.